guys, Paul from Ashen. It's new comic book day for the week of August 23rd, and we're getting started right now. This episode brought to you by the Comic Book Store, 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey, 08028. Come buy comics. Come buy these comics that we're talking about.
Hey guys, it's Tim with the Comic Book Store, Team Ashen, Capes and Scowls, and Paul and Tim do a thing. I did it out of order, so I couldn't get there, Paul. I'm sorry.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, never go out of order. Anyways, I've got a bunch of trades that we could surely talk about. We've got Robin and Batman. This is Lemire, along with Dustin Gwynn. This was a really cool mini. We've got Art Brut, which is the people who do Ice Cream Man. So this is weird as hell, which is also fun. We got Ordinary Gods. Did we do Ordinary Gods on
the first issue?
Yeah, you liked it, right?
It was interesting.
It's an interesting read?
Yes.
Quote, Paul?
Yeah, very weird.
Very weird?
Yeah.
Batman, Detective Comics. This is the Joker War stuff with Peter Tomasi. So that is a good tie-in volume for you to read. We've got Star Wars, The High Republic, Battle for the Force. This is volume 2 of the second phase of High Republic. We've got, this one's really cool. It's Mother Nature, which is written by Jamie Lee Curtis. And this volume is signed by Jamie Lee Curtis. Isn't that fun? We've got Giant Days Library Edition, #1. Giant Days is one of my favorite books of all time. It is fantastic. Please read it. We've got Red Sonja, Volume 1, Mother. This is the Mirka and Dolfo series. Volume 1 of that.
That was pretty good, too.
It was pretty decent, right? What's the Furthest Place from Here? Volume 2 by Rosenberg. We love Rosenberg. What a sweet man. We got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Recharged Volume 2. Power Rangers stuff, man, they just keep going strong. That stuff cannot be stopped. Astronaut Down, you read this, right? That was you? You read Astronaut? No, somebody surely read it. Was it you, Matt?
I read the first issue.
There it is. It was Matt. And?
I don't know. It was before I reviewed with you guys.
Oh.
Nobody wanted my unsolicited opinions at that time.
We still don't, but what do you think now?
It's great.
It's fantastic.
That's
there
the
you
whole thing. That's everything right there in one book.
The whole thing? I do kind of like that. We got Wonder Woman Black and Gold. This was out in hardcover. Now it's in one big volume. We got Godzilla Monsters and Protectors. All Hail the King. These are slightly younger reader stories of Godzilla. They're still very good, though, but it has a more traditional kind of art style. And finally, we got Wildcats. This is also Rosenberg, who is still a sweet man. And this is Volume 1 hardcover, which I was thinking of checking this out. I've heard so many good things about Wildcats.
First up, we have Jean Grey issue #1. This comic takes place after the events of the Hellfire Gala and the subsequent fall of X, where Orcus has killed countless mutants, basically evacuated Krakoa, and there's next to no mutants on Earth. So they kind of got their wish. This is talking about Jean Grey after she died in the Hellfire Gala, as she is kind of, her mind is kind of floating off, trying to figure out what she did wrong and where she could have fixed it. And these go down very, very, very dark paths leading up to the next issue. This is actually pretty good. This is actually really, really good, because you are dealing with a Jean Grey who kind of starts to embrace very dark, very authoritarian-esque kind of things. Basically, think about Injustice, how if you give Superman the idea of kind of fixing society in the way he thinks he could have after the things of Injustice, how those kind of spiral out of control. And that's kind of what's happening with Jean's head, as she is trying to go through scenarios that might fix things, and they don't. So this is a really good storyline. I like this a lot. I would say check it out. Even if you don't necessarily know what's going on in Orchid with the fall of X and Orcus, still pretty good read.
All right, first up from me, we got Moon Knight, City of the Dead, issue #2. Continuing on our story from last month, I told you we were dealing with the undead realm and Moon Knight having to fight a lot of demons from his past. It gets way worse in this issue. Way more things from his past come back to haunt him. him and Scarlet Scarab are trying to still find this missing child so they can put his soul, essentially, back in his body. Really cool art. The art is what really sells this. It's a cool concept. It's a good story. The art being so good definitely helps it because they're doing some high concept things. There's a lot of world bending, a lot of twisting, a lot of bizarre stuff happening in this bizarre world of the undead. A lot of things that couldn't happen in the real world can happen down there, and I like that. They have a huge concept, and the art accompanying it. It does a very good job. So I'm still in on this. I'm still enjoying it. It's good stuff. Check it out.
What's going on, guys? My name is Matt from the comic book store, and I read some more books to tell you what I thought about them. First up this week, I checked out Immortal Thor #1 from Marvel Comics. This is actually the very first Thor comic that I've read in its entirety, and it was awesome. I didn't know what to expect, but towards the end of the story, when Thor's fighting a literal thunderstorm, and this thunderstorm gives way to a new group of villains, that looks like is going to be driving this story very, very heavy going forward. I say check it out. The last Immortal series that Marvel did was a huge hit, and I say hop on now before it's too late. Immortal Thor #1. Check it out.
And my pick of the week, it is The Schlub, issue #1. You have this character here, who is literally the first panel says, he sucks. He's just not a great guy. He's just your very, very, very typical loser. He reminds me a lot of the whole 9 yards. It's just a dentist who is very unhappy, divorced, and just kind of hates his life. In the meantime, a superhero battle happens next door and crashes into his dentist practice while he is in surgery. And he sees a big button held by the enemy and pushes that button and then switches places. And that's what this book is going to be about. A kind of a down on his luck, not fun person suddenly giving Superman powers, and how that is going to play out, and how a person who's never been given a chance at anything good is going to take those powers and maybe not do what you think he's going to do. So this should be a really fun story. It's going to be interesting because you have the superhuman person in this body trying to kind of talk him into some sense, and you have a guy who just sucks. This is going to be a really fun series. I like this a lot. There's a lot of fun things here and there that you really don't know you won't see what's coming, and that's what's going to make this book really special and really fun. So you should definitely check it out.
All right, it's time for my pick of the week. Paul, do you know my pick of the week?
Mm-mm.
You should.
I should?
It's Marvel Unleashed.
Oh, okay, I do know now.
It's Kyle Starks. He's writing Pets.
He's a sweetheart that makes some cool stickers, man.
He makes great stickers, but this is definitely... He did actually do these characters as stickers, by the way. Check out Kyle Stark's Patreon on unsolicited plug. Anyways, this is a very cute story, but also a dark story all at the same time, which I really appreciate. It starts with Lockjaw being taken out by Kraven the Hunter, which will lead into the plot going forward. And then we have Lucky, Hawkeye's dog, the pizza dog, meets D-Dog, which is a new character, which is just a dog wearing a D-Man mask. So we've gone to the D-list characters. We love D-Man. He's a great character. So it's just a dog wearing a mask that is trying to superhero. And we end up getting all the pets together who are trying to find a missing master of a local dog, which that person ends up being maybe tied to AIM. So their master might not be a good person. We also get Red Wing in this issue, and we get Carol Danvers Flurkin, and I like how sassy the Flurkin is, and I like that Red Wing is kind of an uptight asshole because Steve Rogers is who he's worked along with, so he's picked up some of his tendencies as well. So it's a pretty interesting story. It's going to pick up more pets, as you can tell from the cover. I didn't mention them all. It's cute, but it's also disturbing, and that's what I like. Starks really gets in there and gives you something different. And there are little jokes in there that I had a good time chuckling at. So I'm very in on this. Make sure you pick it up.
And my pick of the week this week piggybacks off of my pick last week. This is the Penguin #1 from DC Comics. They are really trying to breathe some new life into this character after killing him off in the Batman run. It comes just to find out he didn't die. There is a whole separate story that the Penguin has been taking this entire time, and Tom King and Rob Delatorre are here to tell us about it. I really like this story. I really like what it's setting up. I think it's showing a very different, very complex side to the Penguin that I don't think we've seen in a long time with the Joker madness that people have had. Penguin #1, DC Comics. It's going to be a cool one. Check it out.
All right, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. Make sure you go check out Paul and Tim Do a Thing, where we watch music that's usually pretty terrible and then we talk about it.
I wouldn't say it's all terrible. I think some of it's actually really, really good.
Paul's pretty terrible sometimes too, so he wouldn't think that.
Are you trying to say your picks are terrible?
Oh yeah, everything's terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's awful.
It's not the best commercial.
No, I think people like things that are terrible and they want to go see the car wreck.
Okay.
These reviews aren't terrible.
Listen, we've for months been saying go see Paul and Tim Do a Thing with some positive, glowing, huspa. And today I'm like, no, everything's awful. Go there and look at the car crash. So we'll see if that works better.
Okay.
Just shut the hell up, Paul. If you want to hear me say that a lot more than I do on this channel, go to Paul and Tim Do a Thing. Because I tell him to shut up quite a bit over there.
He does.
Shut up, Paul. Anyways, everybody have a good rest of your week, and we will see you next week.